Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now September 6th of 2023, and given that there's been a lot of things happening over at Disney with their latest movies, such as Elemental, The Little Mermaid, Indiana Jones 5, The Haunted Mansion, etc., have really not met expectations at the box office return rate for Bob Iger, for the Disney Board of Directors, and it's exactly why they are embracing and trying to fine-tune their marketing of the Marvels and Snow White, and why it's really not going to help in the least. This is that there's a lot of things happening currently with Bob Iger and his view on everything happening with DEI, and everything happening as well with his cost containment plan about spending less and making less. By the way, he always talks about that. He repeats it often. What's interesting, though, is what he had to actually say and deliver regarding the ongoing box office collapse for Disney, involving many of their current slate of movies that have already released in theaters that are also making their way to digital and or Disney Plus streaming. And on top of that, it also has a lot to do with the upcoming releases such as The Marvels, Wish, Snow White, and a whole lot more beyond 2023 and 24. Let's get into it. Now, we know that Bob Iger, and I always like to say this, that he often lies to the general public. He will say whatever he has to say to keep people confident in their future, in the distant future, of course. You know, he always likes to assure everybody in the general public that Disney's going to be all fine in the long term, and that any issues that they are dealing with right now is only short term. However, with Bob Iger recently acknowledging the ongoing issues related to their latest stocks hitting a 9-year low, he recently got on the subject of the Disney box office collapse situation by delivering the following. "We here at Disney believe we have satisfied our customers through and through with our latest film releases, such as The Little Mermaid, Elemental, and Indy 5. From our perspective, the negative criticism that we did receive from audiences are nothing more than a minority. We don't cater our strategies to a minority that is loud and opinionated, and though we may have not met our expectations for box office returns for films such as The Dial of Destiny and Little Mermaid, we feel those faults reside within the improper use of marketing those movies as the root cause. We have deeply analyzed our concerns about the latest box office results from multiple installments that we have released from different brands, and we have come to the conclusion that it was nothing more than a misunderstanding with our ways of marketing said projects. We will continue to do our best to market our future films properly, such as with our upcoming films like Wish, The Marvels, Snow White, and many of our soon-to-be-released Marvel films as well in the near future." Now guys, let me just stop here for 1 second about what Iger's saying before we get to the next big bit. Basically what he's saying is that all the issues that have been going on over at Disney for many of the box office failures, for many of the movies, have all been related to nothing more than a minority, and that it was all a marketing mishap for each project, that it has nothing to do with the general public. This is basically insulting fans out there of different Disney properties, whether you are a fan of the Marvel Universe or a fan of, just regular Disney in general. We know that Ant-Man 3 was another flop at the box office, big time, and that's something that Bob Iger has often lied about. Now, one thing about this too is that we know that a lot of people rejected movies like Elemental, The Dial of Destiny, and The Little Mermaid. It just was not about box office numbers. You had fan reception problems. And that's something that Bob Iger will never admit. Again, guys, this is coming from the same guy that said that the reason why Han Solo, the soloist Star Wars story film, failed at the box office was all due in part to a frequency issue. He felt that fans were growing tired of Star Wars, where in reality, the major problem is that number one, people came out of The Last Jedi and had a very big problem with the way things were going with the direction of Star Wars at the time, and two, we also have to remember that it was also a movie that nobody was really asking for at the end of the day, and you're not going to get as many people interested in a Han Solo movie that has a full-blown recast, where it's not Harrison Ford. So that also was a very big factor, and we also have to remember the fact that Kathleen Kennedy reshot 80% of the movie, and it cost them a hefty amount. So moving onwards, alright? On top of all of this, Iger goes on to continue the following. We feel that during these difficult times, we are bound to notice more unsatisfied minorities of people, of fans, of different brands that we produce as we begin to expand our film slate by reducing our spending with the cost containment plan as our number one priority. In the past tense, all of our film mishaps were directly rooted to nothing more than a marketing mishap that we are dedicated our time now to improve for future releases for us here at Disney. We thank everyone for taking their time to experience our adventures on the big screen, and will continue to do so throughout 2024. Now, again, I mean, this is Bob Iger really just not admitting that The Dial of Destiny was a failure at the box office, that it had nothing to do with the general public rejecting this movie, and they are putting full blame, and I'm not too surprised about this, by the way, he is putting full blame on the marketing of this film, on the marketing of The Little Mermaid and Elemental and many other releases out there, as to why they did not meet expectations at the box office, as to also why they did not meet fan reception levels or fan engagement levels as initially, that they thought they would actually reach. And that just goes to show you how out of touch with reality Bob Iger really is, and if he's not out of touch with reality, he is nothing more than a liar. That's why I always call him Bob Iger, as old as I think it gets, yes, I know. But we know that Disney right now is not in good shape. There is a direct reason why they hit a 9-year low at the stocks, and it's continuing to do worse. They're not going to make a rebound, I feel, by 2024. I don't really see that happening. Definitely not in the first quarter. Definitely not in the second. So I don't know where Bob Iger is coming from when he says, and he has said this before in the past couple of weeks, that he believes that 2024 is going to be a very successful year for them. I don't believe so. With Snow White coming out next year, with rates going up for Disney Plus while also removing said content and purging content from Disney Plus, that's not going to work either. People are not going to go to your parks as a result of that. They're not going to spend as much money on your merchandise because they're going to begin to see exactly, slowly but surely, the people that don't do their research on the internet about Disney, they're going to begin to wake up and realize what Disney's really up to. So again, like I say, Bob Iger has got no clue what he's doing. It's not just his fault or the board's fault. We also have to remember who's funding these people. Just two major examples. The top two shareholders, BlackRock and Vanguard, they really are pushing this DEI nonsense into these movies, and that's why they're failing ultimately. So anyway, I would love to hear what each and every one of you out there have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.